Smoko time in Hokitika, and Russell Price heads to the beachfront for a break. He says costs are going up everywhere and it's affecting people on the coast.
There's a lot of people in this town and on the west coast that work for companies and are worried about their jobs and that and then see it pushes everything up. It pushes up rates, it pushes up insurance, it pushes up food. And in a country like this, a beautiful country like this, it shouldn't be happening. The seesaw's too up on one end.
He says people are struggling and he wonders how young people of today will ever afford a home.
But I was lucky. I've worked all my life and I was in the time where the playing table was a bit more easier. I own 2 houses, but I'm going to leave. I've only done that because I want to leave them. I want to leave them for my boys, my 3 boys, because if the parents don't help their kids now, the kids don't stand a chance. They don't stand a chance of getting a home.
Mr Price isn't yet sure who he'll vote for. On their morning walk, Julie Kane and Hallie Porter say they're feeling the pinch of rising costs.
Cut back a lot on what we used to buy because it's so dear. And not so much waste neither. We're not wasting as much food, you know what I mean, because we just can't afford it. And I do feel sorry for the children that go without as well, and the mothers struggling just to clothe them, let alone feed them.
Miss Porter says she's thinking of looking for a cheaper car to cut petrol costs, and Miss Kane is making savings too.
Looking for a cheaper model, maybe the 90s model, somewhere that's, good on gas, $20 a week.
Otherwise we're mountain bikers. We bike as much as we can to save the fuel, but this is my daughter and she's got children to take to school. Yeah. So she's got to take them to school, drop them off and go and pick them up again, then she's got to go to work. So she's used the car a lot, and by the end of the week it's out of fuel, isn't it?
Yeah.
$50 does not last a week.
It's about $40 a day on gas.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Meanwhile, Miss Kane says even workers are struggling despite the minimum wage increases.
It does help a wee bit. It might get us the extra bit of bread or butter or, stuff like that. But the minimum wage workers, I think, they deserve a bit more of a pay rise, especially when they've got a lot of children to feed.
Simon Rogers has driven to Hokitika from Akaroa to catch whitebait. He says catching and growing food is one way to stave off price increases.
Yeah, everything's just on the rise, isn't it, really? Yeah, and I don't know what the justification is. I'm sure there is, but people sit there and ponder about, is it going to stop or is it going to keep going, or, have we lost control of our country?
The condition of our roads, over-regulation in recreational fishing and housing inequality are also issues for Mr Rogers, as are divisions in society. Barry Rooney, owner of the Gold Room, isn't sure West Coast is well represented in Parliament.
At times, no, I don't think we are. We're too small to be noticeable, so we have to fight for our position, I think, and some of our representatives haven't been overly kind to us in that department over years, so the jury's still out, isn't it?
And what can you do to make your voice heard?
Good question.
He says all you can do is vote. Meanwhile, he wonders what effect cost of living pressures will have on business. Retiree Fergus Bryant says West Coast's isolation comes to mind when thinking of election issues.
Mostly it's maintaining, repairing and keeping infrastructure up and running. Because of our heavy rainfall, there are times when we get isolated on the coast, and that of course interrupts everybody's life.
He says he doesn't feel well represented by Wellington.
Yeah, I still vote because it's the one and only time of year I can join the popularity contest for the clown reception. And I'm quite serious about it. I don't believe that we are fairly represented, nor do I believe that it's a democracy. I believe it's a hangover from the old English parliamentarian nonsense that we got lumbered with.
Rising costs and the cost of doing business are also on his mind. Ahead of its usually busy summer season, Hokitika residents are hoping for enough tourism dollars to boost the local economy.